Be prepared for highly offensive language from the start and throughout, and adult and sexual themes. So Team USA are no longer wieners, they are winners. And with President Scoop ruling the house, anything can happen. We're going to be exclusively revealing which Brits are going to be facing the eviction on Tuesday. It's time for Bit on the Side.
Sunday might be the national day of rest, but here on Bots there is no such thing, as we can all tell. The celeb housemates are still fighting, and we are ringing the bell for round 2 as we bring you all of the action straight from the ringside. That's what we do. Plus, I'm going to be exclusively revealing which Brits have been put up for eviction by their American housemates, so make sure you stay tuned for that. And tonight, not only do we have our feisty panel giving their uncensored thoughts, but Bots is all about the people. That's what we're about. So we're going to be hearing from you lot at home too. Plus, we've got a very special treat for a member of our audience. One of you are going to be joining tonight's panel. God help me. So, who's it going to be? It's only Barbara! No, do you know what I love? The funniest thing about that is Barb's going, is it me? You bloody knew! You bloody knew! She's going to be taking her place on our panel a bit later. But right now, let's check on and meet who she's going to be sitting alongside. It's officially ladies' night, which I like. I can smell the estrogen and I'm getting the cramps just thinking about it. First up, she's looser than Sherry. She's more fiery than Farron. She keeps it real like Scoop. It's our gorgeous friend of the family. It's Carol McGibbon! Up next, the previous Big Brother champ who has got the perfect remedy for anyone feeling sad. So, Jose, what is it? You've always got a good remedy, haven't you?
Well, Ryder, whenever I'm feeling a bit down, I always think about that woman who got her face ripped off by a chimpanzee. They made me say that.
It's Josie Gibson, everyone. We've got another hour of this. Finally, she's the only celeb in the room to have not entered the Celebrity Big Brother house, so you should see this as your audition, babe. It's Claire Muldoon! Well, he's had a long, successful career. He's featured in over 128 movies. That is a lot. And finally, it's time for him to star in his very first Bournemouth blockbuster, Daniel Baldwin, The Aftermath.
Celebrity Big Brother house, this is Emma. First to be evicted is Daniel.
I'm gutted! I'm absolutely gutted that you're at the house.
I thought it would probably be Chris. I didn't know that he would have enough storyline in it, so I feared he'd be the first one to go out. Boy, was I wrong!
Thank you so much. Thank you.
I'm very excited. Looking forward to do the post-interview so I can give you all the dirt. God bless.
How you doing?
Good, good.
So we'll get you on part 2 straight after this.
It's Daniel Baldwin! I'm gutted that Daniel's gone. I thought he was a really nice housemate, and I think he's done enough to stay in there. But at least we get him. We can have a laugh with a Baldwin.
Well, when I saw who nominated me, there was 4 people, and I thought, really?
You were great in there, and you were fantastic.
Thank you so much.
I'm shocked. I thought Chris was going to go.
If you'd have stayed in a bit longer, it could have gone a long, long way.
I'm going to Skype my wife, my kids, and I'm going to get a good night's sleep. Hello, everyone in Great Britain. It's Daniel Baldwin. I have been evicted from the house, and there's a side of me that's very, very upset.
This side. Ladies and gentlemen, give it up for the legend. There's Daniel It's so nice to have you back. You've been out now for a few days. How are you feeling?
I'm sleeping.
Good. That's a start.
It's a good thing.
It's more than what they let me do.
You know, it's funny, as you let it digest some, I wasn't really that upset about being evicted from the house. There's a side of it that's good to be out of there, too. It was very, very tense. But I think the part that was hurtful was to have to go out and then sit with them and watch the people that nominated you,
yeah.
and then gave their reasons why. You know, so when I look at the people that I nominated, ironically, Chloe and Stevie, I nominated and I called it a mercy nomination. I thought, this is not good for their relationship. I don't think this is good for her. She's very stressed. She nominated me because I took a cigarette without asking.
I mean, there's a little balance there, but you have had time now, because I know Friday night, when you come out of that house, everything's a whirlwind when you walk out of that house. You've had time to process that now. Obviously, you just brought up nominations. How was it seeing that yourself?
Look, it's a hard thing to do, you know, when you're asked to, especially that early on. The first nomination, I'm sure, is harder because there's no real lines in the sand and you don't know enough really about them. Some of them, you have a clear idea. But remember, too, there's a strategy in the game. So I learned a lesson, had I been in there longer, that my nominating Janice was worthless because there's no way she would get evicted. So really, it's not a smart move to nominate someone that's unevictable at this time. So, you know, and I didn't really think about that.
That's a really fair point. Like, I mean, everyone's obviously evictable. It depends how people vote, but
of course,
I get what you're saying.
But when you see a cartoon character like that, you're salivating. You're salivating at the idea of her not being there. She's just such great television. Now, I don't think that behavior carries you to the day to win it. But, you know, what would the show be without Janice and Farrah right now?
Yeah, it's true. It is true.
So really, when you think about somebody to get rid of, I probably would have nominated either Gail as my other one or somebody who I don't think has the legs to win the whole thing.
You're such a good game player. He's on it. He's on it. Put him back in. Put him back in. Let me ask you, what's the public's reaction been like? You've been out of the house a couple of days. What have people been saying?
You know, I think as far as, you know, my Twitter people and Facebook and the things that I've been reading, they also felt the same way I did, and I kind of let them down. I didn't think I had to play a game yet. I kind of felt that I was going to be okay maybe the first 2 times.
Yeah.
So, you know, other behaviors that would take place to people where I might have let them have it, you know, I held that back for now.
Back, yeah.
Only because I'd have to let them have it every day for 24 days, you know, so.
Well, talking about people letting them have it, I don't know if you've managed to see this bit yet, but Jenna really stood up for you against Austin after you were evicted on Friday. Let's take a little reminder.
Ooh.
What are we going to eat?
Don't laugh. It's not funny.
You're making breakfast tomorrow.
I'll make breakfast tomorrow.
It's funny that you think it's
somebody's
funny.
somebody's got to.
For real, though, it's Daniel. Like, I mean, that was
Can I have my opinion?
You can have your opinion, but fucking keep it away from me.
Why are you so upset about it? We're all going to make that same wall. I said he's making breakfast.
Why am I so upset about it? Because I'm not a bullshit artist. That's why.
It's a little crack.
Do you really want to? Do you want to? Do you want to, Austin?
So I'm taking it that's the first time you've probably got to see that. What were you making of Jenna's reaction?
Jenna and I, you know, would have had each other's back. She can be bold and sometimes even crass, but it usually comes from a place where she wholeheartedly believes that something unjust happened.
Yeah.
You know, and there's certain people, too, that live in the reality world more. I'm a movie actor and a TV actor, so I've done reality television before, but it's not my world.
It's not your thing.
You know, and so for as far as Austin's concerned, I think he looks for opportunities to do things that make him shine. For instance, in tonight's episode, we see what he does for Gail. Trust me. In my opinion, that was a totally, once the opportunity came, calculated thing for him to do.
So you think that was...
And then I must say that my heart is with the Brits. My heart is with the Brits. The Brits are also voting, Austin.
So you think that was a little bit underlined?
Look, the guy knows how to play the game. He's good. He's good at playing the game. It's gonna get him in and carry him. You know, I mean, he's got his bromance with James, who's my favorite to win it all.
So James is your favourite to win?
James and Scoop, I think, are the two.
James and Scoop. Why them two?
Because when James goes and says to Austin, you know, man, you're a bigger man than I, he's giving somebody props over him on a show. That's really honest and from the heart. That was really genuine, because you really don't need to go out of your way to take the other hunk guy in there and make him better than you in the audience's eyes. But I believe he did that because he's a stand-up guy. So much so that when we did the task, it was I that put James in the room during the task because I knew they wouldn't flap him to get him angry about him. But he was my ace in the hole that if they picked on the girls, he'd stand up as a gentleman and say, wait a minute, that's uncalled. And I knew he would do it. And they didn't think he would. And sure enough, when they started blasting the girls, there's my horse. James jumped up and said, that's uncalled for, blah, blah, and got him angry, which is what the task was. Because he's that guy. And I believe, and he's really handsome. He's so much fun to look at, you know.
It's so fun to look at.
And he's a legitimate good guy. His problem will be when Austin gets the boot, will he shine on his own? That's going to be his test.
Well, we're going to be talking about this very soon. But listen, we need a bit of testosterone on that panel, so you're going to be joining our ladies in a minute. But for now, let's give it up for Daniel. After the break, Carol McGiffin's going to be reading between the lines and analysing some of the CBB stories that have hit the press over the week. Plus, Josie Gibson reveals all in the camera run. She should really start wearing knickers, Daniel, honestly. Don't go anywhere. I'll see you after this. Honestly, all out. All out. Welcome back to Celebrity Big Brother's bit on the side. In just a minute, it's going to be time to read all about it, because Carol McGiffin is going to be taking a flick through who's been making the headlines this week. But now, as we saw, the USA are currently ruling the House with Scoop elected as their president. And with his newfound power, he got the chance to put one person up for eviction, and he chose Chris. There he is. Now, you knew that, but something you don't know, you're going to have to stay tuned for, because I'm going to be exclusively revealing the full lineup of Brits to face eviction a little bit later on. But now let's talk about President Scoop in all of his glory. Carol, are you surprised that the Americans voted him president?
No, I'm not surprised at all. I mean, he is very level-headed. He's a lovely guy. He is the peace man in there, isn't he? So, and he won't abuse his power. I think that's the best thing about him. And so
he's coming across so well at the minute.
Yeah.
Dan, I mean, you've lived with him. Was that the right choice?
Now that I'm gone, yes. Because let me point out that he is the peacemaker, but we are at war with Britain on this show. No, he was the logical choice. I mean, who else were we going to put? Maybe Jenna, because she might try to do a little give it back to the Brits for it. They really did make us run around. I mean, like bad when we did that.
We saw. But one thing Scoop's already done, he's put Chris up for eviction. Josie, what are you making of that choice?
Do you know what? I didn't think Chris offered anything to the show until tonight's show. I actually really respected the fact that he turned around and said, look, guys, I'm an actor. I'm not a reality star.
Yeah.
You know, I ain't got a script. And this is who I am. And I'm not here to entertain on a daily basis. Just goes to show that he has got a proper job.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, not like we haven't, but, you know.
No, I get what you're saying. I think it was quite humble of him to sit there and say, look, I'm not used to this. I've never done this type of thing. Claire, what are you making of him being up?
Well, I don't think there was any other option for Scoop to do than to put Chris up. But to be honest with you, Daniel, there's not much of a war going on because the US are absolutely trashing the Brits. We are doing absolutely nothing in the House. And to be fair on Chris, I mean, yeah, Josie said he's not an actor, but he lives his life. He's on Big Brother. He needs to give out some. And yet tonight's episode's finally seeing him, and I think he's actually relaxed. I think there's a weight being lifted off his shoulder now, being possibility of having eviction on Friday.
Yeah.
Let's just see how the week pans out and see who else he's up against. That'll be interesting.
Dan?
You know, I've got to add to that. We discussed a little bit this earlier, and at first, my first take on it was that Chris is up in his game a little bit. He took the lime out of the mouth and blah, blah. But I don't think it's because... I think Chris knows his number's up. He's going.
You think?
I think so. And I think he knows it, but I think what happened was, I really believe you're right. He was humbled by the fact that, you know, I'm not a good game player. It's not what I'm like. And I think he really legitimately is making an effort for Chris.
Yeah, do you think that?
To get involved in what's going on in that house.
I just don't think he cares.
No?
It's always difficult for actors in there, though.
Yeah.
Because they don't like being themselves. That's why they're actors.
Excuse me, Mrs.
Well, listen, there's two people in there that it's not that difficult for. The feud between Janice and Austin rumbled on. Austin called her toxic in the diary room. Clearly saw Friday's show, do you know what I'm saying? Josie, team Janice or team Austin?
It's so hard. It's so hard. Like, people like Janice make the world go round, don't they?
Yeah, they do. Quite fast.
Oh, mate, I love her. I met her a few years ago. No pants on. It was brilliant. And I just thought, you're a legend.
Nice to know that you've got something in common with Janice.
Yeah, I do know. But yeah, it's so hard. And then I keep calling him Aston, but his name's Austin.
I know. I think we'll be talking about that Aston scenario in a minute. I've just seen your camera runs, and yeah, someone called Aston in there apparently. But we do need to talk about Austin and Gal's special bonding session they had. Austin shaved his hair for Gal, and Gal was very moved by it. Now, Daniel, we know what you make of this. You've obviously had your say, but Carol, let me come to you. What did you make of it?
Well, actually, I thought it was a genuinely kind and very human thing to do.
Two claps there.
No, I know.
Two claps.
But the thing, I mean, maybe I'm biased because I love Austin. I think he's right on it. I think he absolutely gets it, and he knows. Yeah, but so what? But it doesn't matter if he did it for that reason. If he did it for the show, then so what? It made Gal feel good, and she does feel like. I don't care if he did it for that.
But it was also a very quick decision as well that he made on that part. He was sitting there, he made the decision instantly to do it. So there wasn't much thought on it.
You could see he was thinking it. What can I do to make her feel better? No,
well,
come
to
on.
make her feel better.
Yeah.
But the whole thing about taking his hair off, I think, was actually quite an altruistic act. I actually think it was a genuine act of kindness.
Yeah.
Well, let me just quickly ask about Austin and James. Daniel, because you're here now, what do you make of their connection? Because we were just speaking then about James. You said he's very genuine, saying, you know, you're a bigger man than I am. What do you make of their bromance that they've got together? Because they are, like you said, they're joint at the hip.
Yeah, they are. Well, two things quickly. There are celebrities and people that do things for charity and write big checks but they don't call their publicist to make sure the story is leaked. That's who Austin is. So that's what he's doing. It was lovely that the byproduct for Gal, and I believe he wanted to do something nice for her, but it's very convenient, in my opinion, that he does these things, because if this was on the street and it wasn't on the show, there's no freaking way he would have shaved his head.
Yeah, but you wouldn't have the bond with someone on the street either. You're in a microcosm of the Big Brother house, where everything is magnified. Mm-hmm. So he really did. I think, honestly, I'm really Team Austin. I think the guy's great. I really, really like him.
Let me just very quickly, hands up. Do you think that was genuine from Austin?
No. Genuine.
Who thinks it wasn't?
Not genuine.
And then there's clearly a couple of people that just don't know where they are. But listen, we're going to be finding out soon which Brits don't make the cut when we reveal who the American housemates have nominated for eviction. But as I said earlier today, we had a big task of trying to make Josie stay quiet for 10 minutes as she went undercover and sneaked into the camera runs to have a good old snoop about. Here is what she found out.
Ryland, I've broken through security. They finally let the Randy Mare back in. I'm gonna go and have a snoop around for you, love. Let's see what we got in this window. Oh, wow. It's Janice Dickinson. Last time I seen Janice, she didn't have no knickers on. Look at Janice, tucking into a mango. Look at that suck action. Oh, it's Bobby. You don't actually look that happy. Let's see what bedroom action there is going on. Oh my God, it's my favourite housemate ever. Fat man Scoop, sleeping like a walrus. I can't hear nothing. No, he's not a snorer. Who's that back there then? Is that Farah? Is that Farah? Look, she seems to be quite isolated, Farah. I think she's isolating herself a little bit. Farah's always got a face like a slapped ass. Look at her, strutting around. She thinks she's lush. Oh, I'm loving Aston's swim shorts. I know I keep barking up the wrong tree, but... Oh, bit of goss, right, bit of goss. The package is minute. Not as big as yours, mate. All right, Rye, I hope I brought you all the goss, mate. I gotta go. Gotta get myself glammed up. I got a show to prepare for. Signing out, Randy Mayer.
I do love her. Who Aston is, we will never ever know. But listen, my next one loves a good old roast, didn't you? Especially on a Sunday. So she's back with me to have a look at which papers have been roasting our housemates the past few days. Give it up for the gorgeous McGiff. Here she is.
Here I am.
So let's talk about what's been going on. Farrah seems to be, you know, still
Just
up there.
like last week, it's Farrah,
What
all
we got?
over the place. Well, poor old Daniel who came out, and the headline in the Daily Mail was Daniel Baldwin becomes the first housemate to be a victim of Celebrity Big Brother as he leaves to the sound of Farrah Abraham boos. So basically, she's just taken over everything. So poor Daniel, people were probably cheering him, but at the same time, people were booing Farrah so much that it sounded like they were booing Daniel.
Obviously, it was Daniel's eviction. You look at that headline.
Exactly.
Her name's in the headline.
Exactly.
Why is she such a, like, tabloid darling?
Because she wants to be. I mean, she's just an absolute... She's desperate for attention. I mean, she's doing it all the time. This is why she's creating all these arguments.
She's a professional at
She
it.
is. She's a professional reality person. I'm not going to say star, because I don't really know who she is, and most people in this country don't. But she just dominates everything all the time. And the terrible thing is, the sad thing about it is that you can tell that she kind of means all this nastiness that comes out of her, and it's terribly sad. It's like when Bobby said to her, you know, I just feel sorry for you. I feel really sad for you. So, you know, she's happy when she comes out and she sees the cuts. She'll be very, very happy about that because she's all over them.
Well, what next have we got?
Well, we're moving on to, Farrah, again, headline number 2 is Farrah Abraham's homophobic Celebrity Big Brother rant has Natasha Hamilton in tears. Now, this is when
This is on the Mirror.
This is in the Mirror, yeah. She was tasked to upset the British royal family. And she just went too far. I mean, the thing is, when I was watching it, I didn't know it was a task because I wasn't really listening.
She didn't know it was a task, so she sat there going, no! No!
Me and Mark, we were lying in bed going, oh, she's terrible. And then we found out it was a task.
Well, I'm not surprised that the papers have picked up on that. Obviously, we do have to reiterate that it was a task, and Big Brother did speak to Farrah about her language, and I think Big Brother was right to speak to Farrah about her language. But we do have to appreciate it was a task, but she just took it too far. What else we got? What else you got for me? Come on.
OK, we've got... headline number 3 is in the Mirror again. Celebrity Big Brother. Are James Hill and Farrah Abraham falling for each other? Well, I hope not!
Do you think they are?
Oh, no. No.
I mean, that would be the most twisted reality show I've ever... Like, what James and Farrah did next, or something like that.
But she just doesn't deserve James. I mean, he's such a sweet, lovely boy, isn't he? And
he's coming across really well.
She's a monster. She would absolutely eat him alive. Like she said, she would break his dick. That's not the only... That's not the only thing. It's not the only thing, is it, that she would break? She would break him.
What's next? For God's sake, Carol, what's next?
She's too impossible. Yeah, let's get off that woman. No, let's talk about Gail. OK,
Go on, then.
Poor
what we got about Gail? Here we go, Mail Online.
Yeah, in the Mail Online, emotional Gail Porter pleads with Chloe Jasmine and Janice Dixon to make peace as tensions mount in the CBB. Now, Gail's doing really well, I think, but she is very sensitive, isn't she?
Yeah.
She doesn't like anybody rowing. She doesn't like the idea of not being able to clean up, which actually made me laugh because I can't do the dishes. Poor Gail. I mean, who cries because they can't do the washing up? It's just...
I mean, that's... You normally cry because you got to do the washing up.
Exactly right. So, she does get upset when other people argue because she doesn't want to argue. She doesn't want to hear people shouting and everything. So... But that's it. Apart from that, I think she's doing great, Gail. Because, as we said last week, loads of people were really worried about her when she went in there.
But she's hanging in there and she's doing well.
She is. And she's found a voice as well. She's getting in there and telling Chloe and Stevie to stop all that mounting each other. It's uncomfortable. And if you're sleeping next to a couple and they are doing that squelchy Wellington boot snogging thing, like... It is uncomfortable and it's horrible. And she just told him like it was.
Well, what a fault to leave me with. Give it up for Carol McGiffin, please. We're going to have a shower. Don't go flicking, and I mean you, dirty man. Because believe me, we have got news and exclusives coming out of so many orifices, it's starting to sting. Orifices. Do you like that? Orifices. I'll see you after the break. Orifices. Welcome back. Celebrity Big Brother's bit on the side. Coming up in just a minute, we're going to be opening the phone lines to hear what you lot at home have got to say. God, help me, I've got this lot. But now it's time for tomorrow's headlines in today's news. Well, Sunday got off to a bit of a weird start at 10:35 this morning when house mum and dad, Janice and Chris, gave Stevie Ritchie an acting masterclass and they got into a bit of role play.
I think their marriage is over.
Over?
Over.
God. Over?
Over.
Are you, excuse me.
On the carpet.
Excuse me. Over? After I bore you 10 children?
No. The only true bit about that was that you bore me. All right?
I bore you.
No, you bore me.
I have news for you. Please don't leave me. Please, I'll learn how to cook.
All right.
You can't just do that to me. You can't.
Calm down.
I will not calm down.
All right, I'm going to end this.
You cannot.
I'm going to end this.
Please don't.
We're ending this scene now. I'm going to let you stay. Go and clean my underpants.
Oh, God, I will. I promise you that I will. Let me have them. I'll take them off right now. Take them off right now. Take them off. Take it off. It's
that scene's fucking over.
Never ever till I say it.
I'll just say, the most disturbing part is that wasn't a task. They just decided to do it. It weren't even a task. But thankfully, things did chill out at 10:45 when Janice showed Stevie her downward dog. Not everyone was impressed, though.
You're going to feel in the back of your ankles?
I can, yeah.
You're going to feel it all the way up your hamstrings.
Yeah, I certainly feel that.
Okay, come up on your toes. Hold the push-up position.
I really must go and work out, because if I don't, I won't.
I've done my stretches and I've done my plank.
Oh, yeah.
But I might have a little join in if you're going to do something today. But
Janice is doing the splits.
what the extraordinary thing is that she can do all that, but she can't walk. She looks like she's going to fall over all the time.
I can't do the splits. 12:55. James and Austin did their bit for cementing UK-US relations by swapping Speedos. And then they had, let me read this right, a walk-off, just to confirm. What else is there to do on a Sunday?
No.
America?
No. What, for a laugh? I've come with American Speedos for a laugh. I'll put them on there.
And should I wear my Union Jack ones?
Yeah, what's
All
what?
right.
Go.
Boom. Kilt it.
Austin won that round. I'll tell you why. Austin's focus was directly to the cameras.
Where's the cameras?
Where she is.
Where are the cameras?
She's just taking it so seriously. Bit embarrassing for James, though. He lost out. But it's all right, though. It's not as if anyone's watching. Do you know what I mean?
By talking to Paul, listening to how he responded to stuff and just taking what I can, the show has had massive numbers, bro. No, you don't understand. This show has had massive numbers.
Oh, God, yeah, like millions and millions of viewers.
No, bro. No.
Millions?
Whatever the Perez Hilton one was, times it by 3 or 4.
My God, is it really?
And that
That's
Perez,
amazing.
that Perez Hilton one, people were talking about in America.
God, were they?
That's how I know that this is going off in America. Guaranteed.
Wow.
Say it's averaging 10 right now.
Oh, God. Wow.
That's why I said, brother, you're part of something historic. Guaranteed.
Guarantee it, yeah.
He's right. I've had Obama on the phone. He wants a tour of the camera runs and everything. We're going to get him over. He's going to love it. We're really big in the US. And that was today's news. There you go. However, the big news today is nominations. And it seems that the divide between the UK and USA is getting even bigger than it already was.
They're not eliminating one person.
I think
They're eliminating two. Or three, possibly.
Possibly. So you just have to think about how the temperature in this house is going to be once they get rid of one or two. And what if they do eliminate Gail? Like, that's a big possibility. Is that going to piss them off to the point of where they bring the heat and the challenges and raise the British flag again? And
well, here's the thing. I was in here praying just now. I was praying that flag stays up there for the duration.
For sure.
And it's got to stay up there for the duration.
We've got to beast
At
this.
all means, in terms of all means necessary, it must stay up there.
Oh, I agree.
That's bridging that gap. Well, listen, I know you lot at home have got a lot to get off your chests, so let's see what you're offering today. First to express themselves, it's Elaine from Grangemouth. Elaine, you there?
Hi,
oh, it's
Elaine.
Elaine.
How you doing?
Oh, it's so nice to hear from you, Elaine. What's your chat, babe?
It's lovely to speak to you. I've waited for such a long time to speak to you.
Oh, babe, it's such a pleasure to speak to you again. It's been too long. What do you want to talk about, babe?
Well, actually, Daniel, I'm really, really sorry that he's out the house. Certainly before Farah, that's for sure. I find that very strange. I mean, I think it's a very honest, and he stayed out of all the arguments. He's a very, very honest and says it as it is guy. That's, I mean, honestly, particularly in the Paul Burrell task, he gave 100% in that task. Certainly gave 100%. And I was actually quite touched when he was in the diary room speaking about the task and how emotional he was and grateful that he'd met Paul Burrell. Obviously, Diana's confidant.
Well, Elaine, the plus side to that is we get to have our fun with Daniel. Elaine, it's so lovely to speak to you. I'll speak to you soon, babe. Take care.
OK, bye.
Bye, Elaine. Lots of love.
Bye-bye.
Let's move on to Ellie from St Albans. You all right, Elle?
Hello, darling. How are you?
Hello, darling. I'm all right. What's your chat, babe?
Darling.
What's your chat?
Right, listen, this is not the time to be patriotic at all, because I am Team USA all the way, just like I was Team Spidey. Woo!
Yeah, we'll never forget that, will we?
Listen, if the UK housemates were to step up, I would support them, but they're not. They're non-entities. I don't even know they're there. Chris Hu, Sherry Hooson, Gail, stop crying, man up, get a life, honest to God. I don't want to see them sitting around a campfire, drinking hot chocolate, singing Kumbaya and toasting marshmallows. I want the tears, the fights, the drama, the controversy. That's what Big Brother's about. Team USA, woo-woo!
Do you know what, Elle? You should really start saying what you think, babe, because, you know, it's horrible to sit on the fence, babe. Ellie, thank you for calling up, babe. We'll see you soon. Give up for Ellie, guys.
See you soon, darling. Bye.
Let's move on to John from East Anglia. John, are you there?
I'm there, Ryan. I'm with the Lost Lady. Where's all the support for Team Jenna and Team Farah? They're providing all the entertainment. The British team aren't earning their fees.
So you're Team Jenna and Farah?
I'm Team Gemma and Team Farah.
Are you familiar, John? John, are you familiar with Jenna's work?
Well, you'll have to tell me more about that, Jenna. I'm not...
Just Google her, babe. Google her.
I think you'd perhaps know more about it than I do you?
Well, do you know what? It's good, though. I'm glad that he said that, because a lot of people are Jenna and Farah bashing at the minute, and it's nice to get someone that's fans of them. So, John, thanks for your call, mate.
Yeah, OK, cheers.
Thank you, John. Take care. It's time for a little break now, but don't go changing, because after the break, we are going to be revealing the Brits that are going to be up for eviction this week. And as we know, we've got an American rule presiding over the House. Anything could happen. So until then, I'll see you after this break. You know, as it gets late on this Sunday evening for some of you, it's time to wind down, relax, have a cup of cocoa, you know, perhaps enjoy some me time in a bath, you know, whatever takes your fancy. I mean, I like to get me crystal balls out and predict what's going to be happening. Sorry, I lost myself then. But listen, an expert with balls tonight is one of our audience members, and she's getting a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to join our panel for one night only, so give it up for Bots audience legend, it's our Bobs! Look at her, look.
Thank you, Daniel. Thank you.
Ah, what a gent.
Oh.
Bob! How's it feel? You've had your eye on that seat for about 5 years.
I'm at home here.
Yeah?
Now.
You happy?
That's it. This is my seat
She's going to
from
take
now
squatters' rights. I can sense it. We're not going to get rid of her. Well, listen, she's going to make herself comfortable. And to celebrate this momentous occasion, I've got a mega exclusive because it's time to reveal which Brits are joining Chris for eviction this week. Let's find out.
President Scoop, would you now stand and give the name of the first British housemate you have collectively decided to nominate?
First housemate is Bobby.
Okay. Please give the name of the second British housemate you have collectively decided to nominate.
Chloe and Stevie.
Yeah. Please give the name of the third British housemate you have collectively decided to nominate.
Gail.
Bobby.
Yes, sir. Big brother.
Chloe, Jasmine and Stevie.
Yes,
Yes, sir.
Gail. And Chris, you will all face this week's public vote.
Yes,
Well, there you go. As you've just heard, the housemates joining Chris up for eviction this week are Bobby, Gail, and Stevie and Chloe Jasmine. So that's it. That's who's up. And I can reveal that the phone lines to vote are now open. So you guys know the deal by now. Who stays? You decide. This week, Bobby, Chris, Gail and Stevie and Chloe Jasmine all face the public vote. Who stays? You decide. From a landline, call 090 20 44 24 and add the number of the housemate you want to save. From a mobile, call 6 44 24 and add the number of the housemate you want to save. For Bobby, add 02. For Chris, add 03. For Gail, add 06. For Stevie and Chloe Jasmine, add 13. Calls to the long number will cost 50p plus your network access charge. Calls to the short number will cost 50p. Or you can vote via the Big Brother app, where 2 votes will cost you 99p. Voting closes in Tuesday's eviction show. If you're watching on catch-up after that or outside the UK, please don't vote. Votes cast after lines close won't count. You can find terms on the Big Brother website. So there you go. We've had a minute now to digest the nominated housemates. To confirm, the housemates up for eviction this Tuesday are Bobby, Chris, Gail and Stevie and Chloe Jasmine. So let's start with Scoop's killer nom, Chris. He didn't seem too surprised. Barb, what are you making of Chris being up?
Well, he doesn't do anything, does he? Really? You wouldn't know he's there, poor chap. I mean, I think now, though, he might come out of his shell a little bit and, you know, do something to try and stay there.
Well, this is the thing, you know, all the other housemates, apart from Janice, pretty much agreed with Scoop's choice, didn't they, Carol? What did you make of it?
I'm a bit sort of mystified. I'd like to know what their criteria was for choosing those 4. I mean, Chris obviously was chosen. He was the big one. And I think he will go because when it's a vote to save, I can't think of a single reason to save
But
Chris.
he stayed on Friday.
Well, he did, but, you know, over Daniel.
He stayed on Friday over Daniel, so... I mean, just take that knife out your back, Dan.
No, but, you know, it's very, very close, but... I think Gail will be saved, and I think Stevie and Chloe Jasmine will be saved.
Well, we're going to be seeing in tomorrow night's main show, obviously, the reasons why they decided to put them
I can't wait to see that, actually.
Well, you'll have to tune in tomorrow night, wouldn't you? Claire, hang on, spit it out. Will the house miss Chris if he's gone?
Do you know, I think we're starting to see a different side of him now. You were saying he's an actor, he doesn't have a script, but he wasn't scripted in the garden giving Stevie that acting lesson. He came up with that quick line, oh, no, you're a bore, that's it. I think we'll change. I want Bobby out, I want Chloe and Stevie out. In fact, I want all the Brits out, but that's not going to happen. I think a double eviction would be really, really helpful and it would really change the dynamic of the house this week. And I really think that has to happen.
Well, it's funny how they all step their game up, though, just when they get nominated. Like, Chris, you haven't seen Chris do anything, and he's been nominated. He's up for eviction again, and suddenly he's sucking
Well, we've chatted about
lemons
Chris.
out of people's mouths.
Sucking a lemon out of it. Let's move on to Gal. We saw in tonight's episode she is struggling with a cleanliness.
Cleanliness.
What is wrong with me?
Cleanliness.
7 nights a week. I can't even bloody speak. She's struggling with Clovey and all their PDAs, everything. Barbara, how do you think Gal's been handling herself in there?
Well, look at it this way. Big Brother's been going for years. The public know what it's all about, who want to come into it, and celebrities do. Why do they come in and get upset? They know. They know what's going to happen.
It's very easy to get upset in there about nothing.
I know, but they know
what
they know it's a small place to be on top of each other.
But, you know,
so, it's like going to the dentist for a toothache. You know what's going to happen, don't you?
I bet Chef Barbara more often. Dan, let me ask you. Recently we've seen Gal getting a bit more of a voice and saying, I don't agree with this, I don't like that. How do you think she's handling herself in there?
I think that she uses the obsession to clean things up as a very smart detour and deviation from having to deal with a lot of stuff that goes on in the house. So keeping busy, I have to admit, my cooking and doing that gave me something to do.
Yeah.
So I was more than happy to be away from some of the distraction stuff. But I have to tell you, I'll wait till you get to Are we going to go through everybody?
Yeah, we're going to go through
I can't wait to tell you my ideas.
Don't you worry about that. Jo, so are you surprised they've gone for Gal?
Yeah, I am, because I think she's really, really funny, especially when she starts getting angry and taking a piss out of Stevie and Chloe. I think that is hilarious. I grew up watching Gal Porter and I love her. And I was so happy to see her. And a lot of people thought she wasn't strong enough to see the show through.
Yeah.
And I am starting to see cracks, but I just hope to God that she can just keep with it and see it through, because I certainly enjoy watching her.
But Claire, is it her time to go?
Yes. It is her time to go. It really is. I think she's really struggling. And for her own mental health, our own physical health as well, I really think she has to go.
Well, let's move on to Bobby Davro. Other than his argument with Farrah and Jenna the other night, he's pretty much got along with everyone. I think it's quite safe to say. Barb, what's your thoughts on Bobby?
Even Bobby don't do much. He's not as funny in there as he is in real life, is he?
Do you not think he's giving?
No, I don't. I don't think he's giving anything. He might as well not be there.
Daniel?
I'll tell you what could happen to Bobby. What could happen to Bobby is what I believe happened to me, and that is when it came out the gate so fast with Farrah and Natasha and the sparks. From my understanding of the show in past, usually it takes a little bit to get this much going, this much inertia. I fell a victim to what you get to see.
Yeah.
So I was much more involved than you, but my wife watched the show in the States, and she turned around and went, "You weren't even in the first 3 episodes. Like, barely saw you because of how much stuff was happening."
Because of what's
Bobby
going on in the house.
is actually quite funny and does a lot and does some. But compared to the fireworks and the craziness that goes on, you're not going to see it.
Do we think it's Bobby's time to go? Anyone?
Yeah. No, I don't. I think him and Sherry, when they were getting in the bath together, was
well, he's
quite
not close
funny.
to Sherry. We can't split him up, surely.
Well, I think because they're like a couple of old eccentrics. I think they're quite sweet and funny together. So no, I don't want Bobby to go. I would rather see Chris or Chloe and Stevie.
Well, we're running out of time, so let's quickly talk about our lovebirds, Stevie and Chloe. They've been up for eviction before. They were up last week. Barbara, what do we think of them?
I love Stevie and Chloe.
Do you?
I really do, yeah. And let's face it, if like Bobby Davro had his missus in there, they'd be going under the covers, wouldn't they?
Would you, Barb?
I would.
I've got about 20 seconds. What are we thinking of Stevie and Chloe? Go on.
Here's my idea.
Go.
Just because of how great it would make the show, you go ahead and you kick them out, and then you say to them in the diary room, but here's the twist. Stevie can say, as long as you both consent, that Stevie says, and Chloe leaves.
Oh!
I want to see Chloe go, oh, babe, no!
It wouldn't go.
Girls, Girls, very quickly.
They wouldn't split up.
Girls,
Oh, he would say
very
no.
quickly. I'm running right out of time. Do you think they're safe or going to go?
Stevie and Chloe? No, I think they'll go.
You think they'll be safe? Well,
I hope they go.
you hope they go. Well, on that note, give them a round of applause. That's all I've got time for tonight. And massive thank you to all of my guests and our fantastic audience. I'll be back here tomorrow, joined by Dan Wootton and Audley Harrison.